So today is 4th of July, Independence Day for us here in the United States, and it's a time of year that we're out and about and it's warm outside. It's summertime obviously, and we're enjoying the outdoors, but we're experiencing a different kind of a 4th of July this year. Not so much going out for a lot of us, and I thought let's put together a list of my favorite citrus fragrances. Pretty much a culmination of the fragrances I've been speaking to you about the last several months. A lot of the usual suspects are not here, and I'm focusing on mostly newer stuff today. So if you want to find out my favorite fragrances that are citrus focused for the summer of 2020, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today I'm talking about citrus fragrances. Only focusing on the citrus today. These are fresh fragrances you can wear in the summertime, usually focusing on the citrus fruits or the trees or the leaves or the flowers. Mostly about those, and there's some unique twists here, but I'll tell you all about them. But before we do that, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So yes, today is 4th of July, Independence Day. We're celebrating it completely different this year than normal other years. It's been kind of a really difficult year this year. Hopefully it'll change soon. But we have citrus fragrances that we can smell and wear and make us happy, because citrus fragrances make us happy. And today I'm pretty much doing a kind of a culmination of fragrances that I spoke about that are focusing on citruses for the last several months. And some of the usual suspects are not here because they are usual suspects that I love and wear, and I'm trying to focus on stuff that's more newer. So let's get started with the first one, and it's from the house of Goldfield and Banks, and this is Bohemian Lime, this one right here. So Bohemian Lime is a very interesting fragrance because it features finger lime from Australia, and these are very unique lime, a fruit that comes from there. They're almost like a little caviar inside. But the fragrance itself, for me, it's a very, very beautiful smell. It's a finger lime. It's very fizzy. And in my review that I did for this, I kept saying it's reminding me of a Moscow Mule, because I've had plenty of those myself, and they usually have a ginger they use in there, and of course lime and some herbs. This kind of just wears like a very cool, fresh Moscow Mule with lots of ginger and lots of like mint or something. There's no mention of ginger here, but I think the combination of the notes with that finger lime, I've never really physically held finger lime or smelled it, but to me this wears like a Moscow Mule. Anyway, it's really fresh and refreshing. Check it out, Bohemian Lime. Next is that one fragrance that I've been talking about quite a bit recently. It's quite pricey, but I'm obsessed with the smell. It smells phenomenal. But it's all about grapefruit, ambroxan, and woody notes. Can you guess what I'm talking about? It's Bulgari's TYGAR. It's such a great, wonderful smell. It's like a combination of the juicy but dry internal parts of the grapefruit with the bitter, like the skin of the grapefruit. So it's kind of like a bitter sweet combo, but lots of ambroxan here, loads of ambroxan. If you don't like ambroxan, you're probably not going to like this, because it's almost like an equal amounts of grapefruit and ambroxan with some underlying woody notes. Now there are some slight watery aquatic type touches, which is what I usually get with ambroxan, but ambroxan generally is very woody and dusty and kind of like aggressive smelling, but it's a nice balance of the grapefruit with the ambroxan. I really love it. I just wish it wasn't this expensive. I love it. I love the way it smells, and it wears so great on me. Anyway, Bulgari TYGAR, wonderful, wonderful fragrance. This next one is Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim, this one right here. So this one, a lot of people compare TYGAR to. I don't find them similar. The notes are mandarin orange, the fruit, and bergamot. So it's mostly citruses, but there are some other notes in there as well. One of you guys pointed out that it's ambergris. It could be smelling like ambroxan. For me personally, I don't get the connection. I don't have the similar smell to ambroxan and ambergris. I get more ambergris here than I get with TYGAR. So in the end, I don't get any ambroxan here, and it's a very, very smooth and soft experience rather than the TYGAR being very, very rough and aggressive, as I said. But I love that about the TYGAR, and I love the smoothness about Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim. Just a great cozy scent, very, very soft and cozy and relaxing kind of a citrus fragrance. Afternoon Afternoon Swim is awesome. Check it out. I've got one more Louis Vuitton here, and this time it's L'Immensité, this one right here. Now this one, I did not realize that this one had similar features and notes to TYGAR, and it does kind of hint at TYGAR, but then it doesn't. Same perfumers again. It's Jacques Cavalier who created TYGAR and Afternoon Swim and L'Immensité. For me, this one smells a little more like TYGAR than Afternoon Swim does, but I feel like they're all in that same ballpark. I don't know why, but the fragrances are kind of overlapping, and for me, L'Immensité kind of hints at Afternoon Swim, and then it doesn't, but this one features Ambroxan, grapefruit, watery notes. There's some ginger spice in there, some sage, rosemary, bergamot. It's really, really fresh and refreshing. This is part of the male collection, but I feel like it's very unisex. This is part of the unisex collection inspired by California unisex, but I feel like both of them can be worn by men and women because they're very fresh and refreshing citrus fragrances. Anyway, wonderful fragrance, L'Immensité from Louis Vuitton. So this next one is a brand new one, and I'm hopefully going to be speaking about it. I picked it up because I'm kind of obsessed with grapefruit lately. This is POMELO Paradis. So POMELO Paradis features grapefruit, mandarin orange, orange blossom, mint, blackcurrant, and really, really kind of a soft citrus, very, very grapefruity, but also a bright, kind of slightly floral because you have the orange blossom here, and so in the end you got lots of the citruses with the floral touches. There's a little bit of like a green minty kind of aromatic herbal note in there, and slight fruity undertones with the blackcurrant. So I feel like the blackcurrant in here amplifies the sweetness of the grapefruit and ice. So it's a nice balance of those two together. In the end, it's a really, really cozy smell. It hints at a little bit of orange sanguine too because it's the same brand, but this one has a distinct enough smell that you can kind of distinguish them. But when I put my nose here, it reminds me of it, but when I'm wearing it, it definitely is more grapefruit and or pomelo, whatever you want to call it. So this is Atelier Cologne Pomelo Paradis. Let me know if you know this one. I haven't spoken about it, and this is one that I want to speak more about soon. It's a brand that I haven't spoken too much about lately, but I want to revisit some of their fragrances. I'm going to start with the Pomelo Paradis. Up next, it's a fragrance house that I don't speak much about. It's Armani's Orangerie Venise, this one right here. And here, this was a love at first sniff for the citrus that it is. It's lots of bitter orange, lots of citruses, and there's the floral touch of the citrus in here as well. The Neroli, there's some bergamot, there's some Buchu, a very unique note that I'm really curious to explore a little more. And then there's some Ambroxan in here as well with Oakmoss. I feel like Ambroxan is perfectly balanced with citruses. Citruses and Ambroxan together are smelling great, and it works great, and it kind of like, you know, amplifies and extends the life of citruses because citruses do not last as long. And here you don't get the Ambroxan as much as you do in TYGAR. TYGAR is like chock full of Ambroxan. It's almost like more Ambroxan than grapefruit, but here it's more citruses, but the Ambroxan is there to kind of extend the life of the, as I said, the citruses. But this is really, really delicious. It's a nice fusion of citruses, bitter citruses, juicy citruses, and citrus florals, of course. But a great, wonderful scent. I think this is great for the holiday here now, or anytime in the summertime when it's really warm outside. So this is Orangerie Venise from Armani. So this next one is from the House of PENHALIGON'S. And this is a duo of fragrances from the Portraits collection. It includes the male and the female. Both of them are unisex enough for both men and women to wear, and I'm actually going to go with the first one, Cousin Flora, and this is the Ingenue Cousin Flora. This is PENHALIGON'S, and this is all about citruses, all about Ambroxan, and all about Musk. So in the end, it's very unisex. I don't know why they kind of put them in these different directed releases, but there really shouldn't be any gender with fragrances anyway, because this one, if you look at the TYGAR, it's grapefruit, Ambroxan, and the woody notes. Here it's citruses, Ambroxan, and musk, so it's almost the same. But here with this one, I get such green citruses. It's almost like there's Petitgrain in here, the Petitgrain, the bitter leaves of the orange tree, but it smells so good, guys. It smells great. Nothing like the TYGAR. It's more citruses and the citrus leaves with Ambroxan. You definitely pick up the Ambroxan, but with this one in comparison to TYGAR, I feel like the citruses are more than the Ambroxan, but the Ambroxan is definitely definitely there. It's just not as much as the citrus is. But very fresh, very refreshing, a wonderful release. This is the Ingenue Cousin Flora from the house of PENHALIGON'S. And this is the Impudent Cousin Matthew from PENHALIGON'S. And as I said, these were both released as a duo. Great citruses from PENHALIGON'S. And this one, to me, it's created by Alberto Moria. It's all about Petitgrain. It's all about Mandarin orange and patchouli. Again, this is more like your traditional eau de cologne, you know, amplified and intensified. You know, think Neroli, Portofino, and things like that. But this is a greener take on it because it's lots of Petitgrain. Petitgrain is a great note. If you don't know Petitgrain, it's the green leaves of the orange tree, and they make oil out of it. So of course it's bitter, of course it's green, of course it's woody, and of course it's also citrusy. It's all of that rolled into one, and this one has loads of it with the Mandarin orange and patchouli. This is the Impudent Cousin Matthew from the house of PENHALIGON'S, a great release. All right, this next one is from the house of Rosendo MATEU. I brought this one up quite a bit. This is their #1 Bergamot, and it's Petitgrain. Again, lots of Petitgrain here. Petitgrain is a great note. You know what? Citrus trees are some of my favorite living things in the whole world. They smell wonderful. Even if you're not wearing them as perfume, when you go by a citrus tree, you can smell them because they're so fragrant. The leaves are so amazing. And here, it's not similar to the previous fragrance, but it kind of utilizes similar notes because this one also has Petitgrain. It has bergamot. There's some lavender. There's some neroli. There's tea, sandalwood, lime, mandarin. It's so good, guys. It's a very fresh, refreshing citrus with lots of Petitgrain and bergamot, and of course the tea also comes in as a factor here with this fragrance. Anyway, if you don't know this one, check it out. It's a great newish house from Spain. I don't know what city. I think it's Barcelona. The other thing is the perfumer behind this is a well-known perfumer, but the brand is named after the perfumer, and it's a newish niche house from Spain. Anyway, Rosendo MATEU #1. We're going to Histoires de Parfums. This is not a blue bottle, 1.6, and I did a full review of this one. This one is of grapefruit again. It's lots of grapefruit with yuzu, and there's also jasmine, there's orange blossom. Grapefruit is the main player here, but there's also a little bit of like other floral touches in here, like lotus flower and things like that. So in the end, what you've got here is a very floral citrus fragrance, and the citruses are relying on the yuzu and the grapefruit, so kind of like similar family of citrus fruits, but it's balanced with lots of florals. The jasmine and the orange blossom together is like a major intense amount of floral, the white florals, but you know, not only have, you know, of jasmine, which is not traditionally a citrus floral, you have it mixed in with the orange blossom as well. So this is my very first This Is Not a Blue bottle from Histoires de Parfums. I really love it. I kind of want to explore the other This Is Not a Blue bottles from Histoires de Parfums. I don't know much about the series, but I'm really intrigued, especially since the fact that I really love this. Anyway, this is Histoires de Parfums. This Is Not a Blue bottle, 1.6. Mandarin orange is a great citrus, and I wasn't such a fan of this particular note. I guess not. I shouldn't say I wasn't such a fan of it. I just wasn't really seeking out Mandarin orange and fragrances. And I've fallen in love with this one from the house of Tom Ford. It's Mandarino de Amalfi Aqua, and it's a great fresh, kind of aromatic combination of loads of Mandarin orange with orange blossom. There's also grapefruit in here. There's lemon, so it's a great citrusy fragrance, very musky. And then with that, you also have some mint and tarragon to give it a very aromatic and green kind of a vibe to the fragrance. So it's a nice balance of citruses and aromatic notes of herbs, but you know, it also has a little bit of a musk because it dries down to a very clean musk, soapy musk. So the fragrance itself is very clean and soapy. And it's great to wear in the summertime, especially when it's really hot outside. This is wonderful. I love this, and I kind of want to explore the Aqua series from this line as well, because I feel like once I love this one, I'm sure the rest of the collection will be great too. And even though this is the Aqua, I feel like it does perform pretty nicely on me, and I don't usually talk a lot about performance because you have to test them for yourself. Every skin chemistry is different. I have dry skin, so things don't last on me as long as non-dry skin wearers Ateliers fragrances do. So I don't usually talk about it, but here, this one actually clings on and stays on. It's not a beast or anything. It doesn't have major projection. It's a softer projection, and the cloud and the sillage is all very minimal, but in the end, it lingers on me like really wonderfully. Anyway, this is Tom Ford's Mandarino de Amalfi Aqua. It's wonderful. Check it out if you don't know it. This next one is from the house of Essential Parfums. This is Nice or Nice Bergamot, this one right here. Here we go with the bergamot fruit, a fruit that's citrus fruit that's used a lot in perfumery. A lot of fragrances usually have bergamot at the top note, and then it dries down, you know, like settles down to a more darker or more intense notes. But this one focuses on the bergamot fruit, and in fact the whole fragrance is about the bergamot. So you got loads of bergamot here. There's some jasmine, there's ylang ylang, cedar, and tonka. And in the end, it's a very fresh, refreshing take on bergamot. It's minimalistic but not quite, but it's not overly intense, so it's easy to wear when it's really hot outside and you want some nice fragrance, but you don't want it overpowering. And the great thing about the Essential Parfums is they are under $100 for a 100 ml bottle, so niche for under 100. It's great. So this is Essential Parfums Nice or Nice Bergamot. Next, go into the house of Paris Monte Carlo. This is Cedro di Diamanti. So this one is a Cedro. I think it means citrus in Italian. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I'm getting. So is it diamond citrus? Is that what it means? Cedro di Diamante? Anyway, there's loads of yuzu here, lemongrass, lemon, lime. There's some ginger and musk. There is some zinginess in there, but everything is like a diamond, because for me, the experience is very shiny, like very polished, it smells. So they're giving us citruses, but the smell is very polished, almost like shiny and glistening like a diamond would. Anyway, it's a great scent, it's a great citrus, and the whole collection of these citruses from Paris Monte Carlo I feel like are great. I wanted to pick one from them, and I ended up with this one, but they have a bergamot, the mandarin, and the orange. They're all different, very unique, wonderful citrus fragrances. So this is Paris Monte Carlo Cedro di Diamante. Next is the fragrance from a house called Algabra, and this is Scent of Paradise. Now this one, even though it's focusing on bergamot, it's got lots of fruity touches, loads of fruity touches, and for me they smell like melons with some other small, lighter kind of maybe stone fruit or things like that. But in addition to that, there's loads of musk here. Bergamot, musk fruits. There's a little powdery touch here with iris. There's rose, lavender, and sandalwood. It's a wonderful, wonderful release. Very fresh, refreshing, but long-lasting, and a unique take on citruses, because not only do you have loads of bergamot, it's the main star, you also have a nice balance of loads of clean, soapy musk, and then lots of fruits, like melon fruits and some stone fruit. Anyway, Scent of Paradise from Algabra Parfums. This is Al Haramain Portfolio Neroli Canvas. This was recommended as a cheapie or a replacement or alternative to Neroli Portofino. I agree, it's a great alternative, and I usually don't speak about clones, but you know, I'm giving an excuse here because the this particular style, Neroli, and like a soapy eau de cologne like style fragrance has been done since the 1700s, dating back to the city of Cologne, where the first cologne or eau de cologne was launched. So I don't want to say that it's a clone of Neroli Portofino. It's in the style of Neroli Portofino, and Neroli Portofino came so long after the original came anyway, so it itself is not necessarily a clone, but that style of fragrance. So in the end, is this one copying Neroli Portofino, or is it copying the style? It doesn't matter. It smells great though. It's a long-lasting kind of a eau de cologne style fragrance, utilizing lots of Neroli, orange blossom, bergamot, petitgrain, lemon, and musk. It's great. It's a very, very intense version of that style of fragrance, and I like my fragrances intense, and this one lasts and lasts and lasts. Anyway, Al Haramain Portfolio Neroli Canvas is a wonderful one to wear during the summertime. And as I said, I am doing a culmination of all the citrus fragrances that I've spoken about. All of these I have spoken about. One or two are not. They're brand new that I will be speaking about further on in the summertime. And after this video launches, I'll probably have one or two more citrus themed videos, and then we're going to be dropping it, and summer is probably going to come towards the middle of the summer, and then I'll focus on fall fragrances. But that's the 10 first options. But moving right along, Atelier Cologne Pomelo Riviera, and this one is a aquatic pomelo grapefruit style fragrance. Pomelo and grapefruit are kind of similar fruits. They smell similar. And this one actually is an aquatic take on that style with orange blossom, grapefruit, jasmine, salt, bergamot, and rose. Now, I don't know if they're using aquatic touches here because it says salt, and I don't see that they're using cologne, but there is a cologne-like quality here. It does smell aquatic marine, but I feel like it's coming from the salt. But it's a very, very fresh, salty take on orange blossom and grapefruit together, and it's a wonderful combination. Great, great fragrance to wear in the summertime. Fresh and refreshing, and also aquatic marine. Anyway, Atelier Cologne Pomelo Riviera is definitely one for you to try. This next one is from the house of Acqua di Parma. This is Colonia. So Colonia is a one that I've been talking about quite a bit here. It's a another fresh take on that kind of like eau de cologne style fragrance, as we saw here. But this is Acqua di Parma's, and this is their first fragrance that they launched. I think it's their first fragrance, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's one of their first fragrances, and I bought this a long time ago. Then I had run out. I bought it like in the 2000s, but now I have another bottle that I bought recently, and I enjoy this fragrance. It's kind of like a dumb reach citrus. I don't want to call it a dumb reach, but it is exactly. A lot of the citruses can be dumb reaches because they're not overwhelming, they're not too strong, they're simple, they're easy to wear, and they're typically crowd pleasers. People like them on you, so you don't have to think twice about, oh, I'm meeting with this person. Not that we're meeting a lot of people these days, but I'm meeting with this person. Are they going to like the fragrance I'm wearing? Anyway, a lot of these fragrances will be like that, and this is definitely one of those fragrances that you can reach for and splash on and then go out without thinking about what you're wearing. Anyway, this is Acqua di Parma Colonia from the house of Acqua di Parma. This next one is from the house of Healy. This is Oranges and Lemons, Say the Bells of St. Clements. So it's a long name. I'm only putting down oranges and lemons, but man, this is so delicious. Again, once again, we have that similar style. We have that eau de cologne style, similar to Neroli, Portofino, and all those. Utilizing the flower, the leaves, the citrus fruits, and all that good stuff. But this one and takes it to another level. I feel like it's more Neroli and Petitgrain together. It's a lot of those notes together, and you throw in some lemons and bergamot. There's a little bit of a tea like note in here. There's some orange and mandarin that all together is really, really delicious and refreshing, fruity citruses. If you like citrus fragrances, you gotta check this one out. This is a brand that not a lot of people talk about, but I feel like we should support it because they have some great fragrances, and this is one of them. So this is Healy's Oranges and Lemons. So this next one is from the house of Van Cleef & Arpels, and this is Neroli Amara. Neroli Amara is mandarin orange, orange blossom. There's loads of bergamot here, cypress, lemon, musk. It's slightly soapy, slightly powdery, but very, very beautiful, gorgeous. It's one of those Neroli fragrances. Now, even though it's utilizing the Neroli and the orange blossom and things like that, to me this one smells different than your typical Neroli Portofino. If you're comparing it to that, they do have differences. A lot of you that might be new smelling fragrances might think, okay, these two smell identical, but they're different because I get powdery touches here and I don't get that with this one. And there's something like pretty about it rather than like just soapy, because I get soapy here. I don't get much. Well, I do get soapy, but I'm not getting too much soapy. There's just something floral about this one that makes it a little different, a little twist on that, traditional eau de cologne like style. And I think that cypress that they're throwing in here gives it a little bit of a greenish touch as well. Anyway, Van Cleef & Arpels Neroli Amara is definitely great. Now, I've spoken a lot about this one. I'm obsessed with the way this one smells. This is Guerlain's Mandarin Basilique. Mandarin Basilique, basically mandarin orange. Clementines are in here. Basilique is basil. There's also bitter orange here, so it's very, very citrusy, and there's orange blossom and some neroli as well. So basically, if you like the idea of mandarin orange, if you like the idea of the flowers from the citrus tree, some basil because it's aromatic and green, this is such a great combo. It was a love at first sniff. It's like, I was in very, very hot, humid southern Spain last year. I went to a perfume shop. I walked into a place, it was like air conditioned and nice. And I put this one to my nose and I'm like, I'm grabbing it. It was on sale. It was fresh and refreshing. It's an easy spray. Again, it's like one of those dumb reach kind of fragrances. I don't like to use that word, like an easy reach, I should probably say. But it's just pleasant, very relaxing and comforting. You put it on and you're kind of like refreshed with the fragrance because it's, you know, hot and humid outside. Or if you're down in the winter, it's cold and gloomy and you just want to be uplifted and happy, something like this really works. So this is Mandarin Basilic from the house of Guerlain. Last but not least, we're going to talk about this particular fragrance right here from the house of Xerjoff. It's Neo. And I like to talk about this one because it's been gone from my collection for the longest time, and it recently made it back in the collection a few months ago. And I was going to feature Bergamot 22. I haven't featured it here today because I've spoken a lot about that fragrance, but I wanted to feature this one because it is a bergamot. It's great to wear in the summertime. This one actually, it's a bergamot. It's fresh, juicy, loads of bergamot. There's some greenish touches. There's of course like a little bit of Petitgrain in here, but for me there's lots of aromatic notes as well, like the herbal notes and things like that. And it kind of takes me into a slight classic direction, not too much. So in the end, it's a kind of like a best of both worlds. Very, very modern and sparkly bergamot citrus fragrance with some slight aromatic touches, and it makes the wearing experience a little unique rather than just going into like this ultra citrusy kind of a direction. But I feel like this is one of the best bergamot fragrances out there, coming from one of the best luxury niche houses, Xerjoff's Neo. And that's the last of the fragrances I'm talking about today. Guys, what do you think about these fragrances? Have you tried them? Again, this is citrus fragrances for 2020. I do them every year because I love citrus fragrances, and I just feel like citruses make me happy because the way they smell. I consume them, and then I also like to wear them because they smell fabulous. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Have you worn them? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Let me know what you think about these fragrances, and what do you like to wear in the summertime when it's hot outside? And if you recommend something to me, please do by putting a comment down below. Anyway, happy 4th of July to everyone that celebrates, and do stay safe out there and enjoy summer. I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.